Hello everybody, it's Jake Rahman here, and we're here at CESAM 2025 in beautiful Valencia, and we're going to be talking to Lou Oberndorf, who's the chairman of and CEO of Operative Experience. So do join us for this great interview, and we're going to find out all sorts about how he's helping CESAM with the Innovation Awards. Welcome to another edition of Between Two Simulators, but we're actually doing it in front of the Operative Experience booth here, which is amazing. And again, we meet Lou Oberndorf.
Jake,
great to see you again.
Great
Lou.
to see you again.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, last time I saw you, we were at
IMSH in Orlando.
Yeah, the best interview that I did, and it was fantastic.
I've asked for that, but
yeah,
okay, thank you very much.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm here to please. So Lou, it's really good to sort of follow you and see what you get up to. And
thank you.
You've been in this business for so long now, okay?
Okay.
And I mean that respectfully.
Thank you.
Okay. What do you do in your spare time? Is there anything that you do to get your head out of simulation? Spot of origami, anything like that?
Well, almost as frustrating. If this isn't frustrating enough, I play golf.
You play golf?
And that's very frustrating.
Okay.
And I exercise, and I read, and I go to the arts and what have you, and symphony and ballet, and my wife drags me to those things, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it and maybe understand it. I pretend I don't, but I think I do. But this occupies my mind a lot. It's been a passion of mine for a very, very long time. And you can never really separate yourself from that. Yeah.
And so it takes your mind off of work. Did your wife, is she against you bringing work home, talking constantly about what you're up to?
No, she, back in the Medi days when we founded Medi and we put all the chips into the middle of the table, she was right alongside of me in doing that. And she's been a phenomenal partner and a big supporter.
Okay,
all
fantastic.
Of our lives.
Brilliant. I mean, it's always good to have other interests outside of this.
It's a lot more peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, with regard to origami.
That's right.
Just in case you do want to take up some origami.
There it is. Yeah. Okay.
We made a bird for you, and
okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't fly.
It doesn't fly.
Okay. Can I place it right here then?
Just in case you need a new hobby. There you go.
Excellent.
Anyway, So I'm hearing about the Lou Oberndorf Nest Innovation Award with CESAM.
Yeah.
For me, this is really exciting because, all I'm interested in is healthcare simulation, especially the innovation side of it. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if you could tell me more about it and how it all came about.
Well, my relationship with CESAM has been almost, I'm trying to think, well over 10 years.
Yeah.
And one of my passions was to support the organization, and we expressed that by giving back, but it was really to sponsor a keynote address every year. And they were kind enough and generous enough to allow me to introduce the speaker and give some remarks. This past IMSH in Orlando, the executive committee, we meet 2 or 3 times a year, and they had a new idea, and they said, we're trying, and our strategy in CESAM is to begin to engage our membership in innovation, new ideas. It could be anything, and that was fine. And they said, but we need a sponsor to do this.
Yeah.
And a key element to it that really fascinated me and caught my attention was the idea that we were engaging our members to challenge them to come up with new ideas. The problem is that when they come up with new ideas, how do you get it funded? Yeah. How do you get rewarded? How do you get validated, if you will? That part of it really fascinated me. And I'd like to say that I was very sober and considering it, but inside I was already, they had me.
Yeah.
It was like the Jerry Maguire movie, they had me at hello.
Yeah.
And so we shifted. And so we've now shifted our emphasis on the Innovation Awards. And these are a year-long process conducted completely by CESAM and a panel of analysts to down select to 3 awards each year, in which we would give them a financial stipend to reward them, to allow them to continue fund their work, reward them for their work, and that really speaks to me from an innovation technology standpoint.
So what type of people from the organisation or delegates or groups would you want to enter this competition to get this award?
I think the entire SESM community, be they technologists, be the operators, certainly if they are simulationists, as we're now being called, that see what they need. They've identified a need because they've been using simulation and they see better ways to do it or more innovative ways to do it. Those are the people, and it could be a team. My team at MEDI from the very beginning, my team at Operative Experience, we have technologists, we have business people, we have educators at the core of everything we do. I would expect and hope that the teams that get formed at the institutions represent those various elements, because essentially all of those pieces, education, technology, maintenance or repair, finance, all are part of their own organization. So I would like to, if I had my druthers, it would be a team effort that would come together.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we're finding over the last sort of 10, 15 years, especially when it comes to the people involved in the simulation, the technicians, for instance.
Absolutely.
The technicians are solving problems.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're solving problems with products that maybe aren't quite there yet, but they've been released to the market. So you really want to encourage those people to be involved in this, not just the medical academics that are involved in medical simulation. Is that true to say?
Well, I think so, and I think they've been certainly in our journey. They've always been a critical piece of the solution. They're very complex pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
They're dealing with very complex medical environments. But the merger of the technology and the operating of the technology with the education piece is a hybrid. And so the support element has always been key to my thinking in our DNA, and it's from MEDI, and of course it's fast forward to Operative Experience as well. So yes, I would like to see them as part of the team. If they come forward, if they're, and again, I have, it's really arm's length. This is a SESM effort, and I applaud it. If they would come forward individually, they may very well have an opportunity. But I think I would really like, ideally, I would like to see a team effort.
Brilliant. So you're kind of in the role of the apprentice cross between Jag and Glenn.
Please.
So
in the current environment, I don't. The role of apprentice.
All right. We won't talk about that now. So disclaimer.
You're fired.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
That's brilliant. I mean,
cut that, please. I don't want that. I don't want that anywhere in a film. I may not get back home.
Well,
I know.
We'll see if I get to IMSH next year.
There you go. That's
with
right.
My passport.
Yeah. Purge your computer. Apparently. I'm told.
So let's move on to a bit about Operative Experience. I'm always sort of conscious of somebody, and again, respectfully, your seniority within the business. You've been around a long time. I'm interested to know about your team and whether somebody in your team inspires you or amazes you, some of the younger members perhaps, any ideas that they've had that really sort of opened your eyes recently?
At the beginning of Operative Experience, there are very few original ideas.
Yeah.
We always, as humans, we always tend to go back to the playbook that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
So that's the first place that I went when I became involved with Operative Experience and made the investment that I made and became the chairman and the development. My first step was to reach back to my experts, the people that had been part of my MEDI team. And that means the technology people, that means the business development folks, that means the marketing, and many of the salespeople in the business development. So I reached back to them to begin. We got the band back together again, if you will. That brought a lifetime of experience immediately. Startups don't get that. We didn't have that at MEDI in 25 years ago.
Yeah.
But now that experience is there, we got a fast start, if you will.
Yeah.
To your question about what have I been surprised by and what of the new members that we've brought on, we really began to we really have focused at operative experience on combat medicine.
Yeah.
And in that regard, as we brought on retired combat medics,
Yeah.
these are the folks that have done it. These are the folks that were there, have been there, and they're all of them are retired military folks and subject matter experts. They're the ones that have really opened my eyes to the needs. They've been using simulation now that we've had it for 25 or 30 years, this technology. They've experienced it. They've experienced the shortfalls, if you will, and have had to innovate, and they do it brilliantly. They're the ones that have really opened my eyes up to the combat. We've been in the military. I've been in the. I'm a veteran, but yet currently, the last 15 to 20 years experience, they've really opened my eyes.
Yeah.
And some of the engineering and some of the business people we've brought on since then are young, youthful, new ideas.
Yeah.
We're open to that. That's part of our DNA.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me also, I have to say, and with the risk of getting lynched as I walk up this corridor, to have people that have that lived experience in coming into simulation, that have worked, in the hospitals as paramedics, have worked in, as military paramedics and medics, and are getting involved in the simulation world. I think it's hugely important. I think it's also hugely credible as well when you're talking to customers, because immediately you have an understanding of what their needs are or what their challenges are, early on. So I encourage it, and certainly when I grow as a company, we will be looking for people that are from those backgrounds.
The critical element I would comment on that is that yes, all of the industry players are bringing people in. They hire people that are users, they're educators, physicians, nurses, etc. There's a key piece there that though, is they have to listen to them.
Yeah.
It's one thing to bring in a person, well, you've got experience and you know people and you're going to help us, but they ought to listen to them.
Yeah.
We pride ourselves on listening.
Yeah.
Because we have to keep learning all the time.
Yeah.
That's a critical element, and I'm not so sure, and I may get lynched walking down the hall as well, I'm not so sure that you find that quality in many of the established companies.
Yeah,
is that a criticism? Can I get away with that?
I think you're right, and I think because people in a lot of companies out there, and again, the risk of getting lynched, we are going to get lynched. Okay, a lot of companies are very driven by sales targets. Number one, so what they want first of all out of all the skills is a competent salesman, and or person, female salesperson, and to look at their numbers early on. And I sometimes think that's the wrong way to look at it. Sales comes from within, not just about numbers on a piece of paper. And you've got to have that lived experience. So I think we're on the same page here, Lou. So just on that, and we're delving in a little bit deeper now. How does it make you feel when you go into a medical simulation center and equipment's not being used, or it's not being used as much as it should be? Did it sort of fill you with a bit of trepidation when you discuss it? Whether it's your equipment or somebody else's equipment?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. I've seen it over. It's been if you say it's an issue or a problem, it's been there forever. So it's not new. It's not something that's new to me that I see it. Increasingly, that was I think that was more prevalent early on in the growth of this industry. Not knowing how to use it, not understanding it, maybe not using it as effectively. That bothers me more. Not using it is one thing, not using it effectively bothers me more than not using it, if you will. And that's one of the things that, again, in operative experience, we're in combat medicine, it's being used.
Yeah.
Because it's real for them. There is value to that. They understand the consequences. Again, from a lived experience, and unfortunately, we've had, many years of combat around the world.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's going to end as we sit here today.
Yep.
So these folks, not only our own people that we've just talked about, but the folks, their colleagues, they understand the consequences. They've lived that consequence. Our equipment's being used.
Yeah.
To some extent, too much, and you have the technology and the reliability issue, the maintainability issue, but they're being used. I don't find that to be a problem in the either in the obstetrics, but mostly in the combat medicine world. I don't see that as a problem anymore.
Yeah. I think people. What seems to happen in medical simulation when investment comes in for universities or hospitals or organizations is they buy equipment and 2 years later they discover how to use it, and at least 2 years later they discover how to use it. And I think we've almost got to be patient with customers because the way that money comes about, sometimes they don't get to plan as much as they would like to, so it does take a bit of time to embed it. And my history is that when that occurs, and it's not new, it's not a new issue, I put the responsibility on the industry. It's our responsibility to educate, to train, but to share experience and build a community so that organizations like CESM, organizations like SSH, organizations that we build around our user network, that's a collaboration so that they share experiences. I put the responsibility on that. I don't put the responsibility on the customer. I put the responsibility on the company. It's our goal, it's our obligation to make sure that they are properly trained and to stay with them and to help them through that process. So I would take that responsibility. I would never put that on my customer. Yeah, I mean, maybe you sort of, you tapped on something with that because we've got all these great companies exhibiting here. Maybe a portion of their booth should be about retraining and sort of on-the-spot retraining about their products. Everybody, okay? A big sign up, that's part of coming to here.
I agree.
I agree. And so we touched on the sort of use of, from a trauma, teachable C, all that sort of stuff. Definitely your equipment's being used. Now, we are in a turbulent world. You do operate in lots of different markets, okay? How do you think the US market translates to the European or global market outside of America? How do you think, do you see certain trends that are happening at the moment with purchasing, for instance?
Again, from my perspective, if we're talking operative experience, OEI, again, in combat medicine, that's one very, very specific focus marketplace. I can speak about that. I can speak to that in a second. I think in the general medical world, I think that there is we're 25 years into this industry. This industry is only, I founded Medi in 1996.
Wow.
So it's 28, almost 30 years old. It's only 30 years old. That's a young industry. But I think that the spread and the breadth of use within the healthcare arena has literally gone global and is continued. Meetings like this, which are more outside the United States, CESM, and all of their affiliate, associate organizations, country organizations come together. You could see it over the last 10 to 15 years, the expanded use and acceptance. And certainly in the United States, you can't, I used to tell a story that when I would talk to bankers, I would tell them that if you had entered Harvard Medical School or Bologna, pick a famous university medical school. If you had entered those schools as a student in 1990, not that long ago, you would have been taught the same way they'd been teaching it for 100 or 200 or 300 years. This is back then. 25 years later, if you were to enter any of the medical schools in the world, nursing schools in the world, what have you, you're going to see this technology. That's how new it is, but that's how widespread it's become and accepted. Now let me shift to the combat medicine piece. Clearly, there are wars being fought and have been fought for the last 20 or 30 years. Whatever your feelings about that, they're being we've had the experience.
Yeah.
We understand that community understands what they needed, what they learned while they were in combat and in war, and now they have needs and they've identified those needs. Mm-hmm. There is no question that they understand that they needed to be trained before they go into combat. They understand that. Now, as to the U.S. versus the rest of the world, we're sitting here, and I think the NATO meeting has just ended. Clearly, the conflict here on the European continent has awakened a need for more defense spending, if you will, as a general category. But with that, I think there is an understanding that they need to train the medical piece of that, their combat forces, as they grow. We see that as a growing trend. We see it clearly within the U.S. military because of their experience. But quite frankly, I expect that we're going to see that in a dramatic fashion in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And I don't even need to explain that. I think you just read your headlines and you see that awareness is there, and I think that is also now going to spread to the Asia as well. So that's where I see the acceptance and the awareness of it. But I think that you've got to really be understanding of what that is and be able to hone your technology and hone your product offering to understanding that so that you can maximize your impact.
Yeah. I think that there is, in the early days, from a combat medic point of view, from a field hospital point of view, we were lucky or unlucky enough to have some big conflicts that were happening in the Middle East back then, with Afghanistan. For the UK forces, for instance, their alliance was on Camp Bastion, which was the biggest field hospital since the Second World War. But it's really strange. So what I'm finding at the moment, talking to some of the UK MOD, is that they've lost a lot of those skills since the last conflict. So it does seem to me they're starting to recognise that they can't afford now, during peace times, 15 years of peacetime, to relax or rest on their laurels. It's got to be a constant thing. And that's why companies like Operative Experience have a real lot to offer for that, just to keep it going. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times.
Well, and there's no substitute also for resources.
Yeah.
And so governments that have perhaps not kept up with their spending and investment in infrastructure and training, they're now doing that. There's an awareness of that. Yeah. Companies or countries that have always had a robust defense but have a global, like the United States, for instance, have understood that as well for some period of time because they were at the forefront of the conflicts that you were just talking about. But as you just brought up, the conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq involved all of NATO.
Yeah.
All of the NATO forces were there as partners. So the experience of the American forces isn't a unique experience coming out of Afghanistan. It's the question now, are you going to make the investment?
Yeah.
And I believe that we are in an environment now today, as we see today, there's a willingness and a commitment to make that investment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope that this turbulent world will sort itself out at some point. It is slightly scary times, but it's great that we have people like you involved and companies like Operative Experience and other great companies that can help us through that from agnostically, from helping people from a medical point of view. So fantastic.
Would agree with that.
Lou, I'm going to talk to some of your team in a second to have a look around your kit, which is amazing. But it's been really great to spend some time with you. I hope to see you again at IMSH. We will be there, hopefully. And maybe, if you want to come across to the UK at some point, spend some time with us, it'd be great. I'll be in Aspie in November. Okay. But thank you very much, Lou. This has been a wonderful talk again, and hope to see you soon.
I hope we do season three. We'll do season 3 after this, okay?
It's a trilogy.
Thank you, Rich.
It's like Star Wars. Yeah.
The franchise goes on.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Great to see you, Lou.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for this.